Voice of God.
All right, everyone. Happy IND meeting. If you don't have a seat, please find one. Good to see you all. Welcome to our venue for today. I know that Karen worked really hard to secure this venue today. She had some snafus with St. Francis and their new location, but we're hoping to either be there next time or come back here. So I'm glad everyone was able to make it. Welcome to tonight. We had a really busy summer that we might otherwise would not have if there wasn't a lot of election drama, but appreciate everybody coming out for our various actions and for our wonderful candidates. Round of applause for our candidates, some of whom are here. And really for all the work that we know that our folks are doing on the ground. The back of the cafeteria over there is kind of loud. And for those of you who don't know me, if you don't, I'm Danielle Zuckerman, First Vice President of IND. I'm stepping in for Alyssa today, who I think is on her way back from DC. So thank you for your patience. I'm not the typical meeting host, but I do want to make sure we get through this really robust agenda and get you out of here on time. And okay, it sounds like online can't hear us.
So I'm just hearing, with Linda.
All right, checking with our technical difficulties. We're still a dynamic team. We're doing some hybrid work over here.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Linda is okay.
I love knowing it's not just
Linda's
me.
A computer then. Message her privately.
Okay, so I think what we're going to do today, and I'm just speaking out loud with you, it's a collaboration tonight. We're going to hear from our elected officials. We're going to hear a county committee update. We're going to hear some other fun updates, and we're going to talk about Atlantic Antic. So I would love to hand it over to our state senator, Andrew Gennardis.
Thank you, Danielle. It's weird to hear you say it like that now for the first time. Like, wow. Hello, everyone. Good evening. It is so great to be here with you all. I'll keep this really brief. Just want to say thank you for all of the help and support during the primary season. It was really a great race, and I could not have done it without this club. And this club has stood by me in every race I've run since 2012, and to have your support again this year was incredibly meaningful. So thank you very much to all of you. We won 65% of the vote, which was fantastic. And I'm incredibly excited to kind of represent New Neighborhoods now and do that in partnership with all of you. There's a lot of things to be done, a lot of projects to work on, a lot of issues to tackle, and to do it alongside you guys are going to be great. And so I'm very excited by that. For those of you that have not met my chief of staff, Tori Kelly, in the back here, I think everyone does know her, but she'll be a familiar face to many of you and all of you as our work continues. And I'll just end on a note, the November election used to be where we always had to fight our battles down in my races and races in Southern Brooklyn. That's no longer really the case in my circumstance, even though I do have a Republican opponent. We are going to still run a campaign, but Southern Brooklyn still needs help. And we do have a number of competitive races that I think we're going to hear from some of the candidates tonight. We're going to hear from Max Rose's campaign. We're going to hear from Yuan Chu's campaign as well. This club knows how to knock doors in Southern Brooklyn. You know how to talk to voters in Southern Brooklyn. You know how to make phone calls in Southern Brooklyn. So my ask and my hope is that we can continue to mobilize and support some really great candidates down in Southern Brooklyn. We can elect the first Chinese immigrant into the state Senate if we elect Yuan Chu this year, which would be really exciting. We can defeat Nicole Malliotakis with Max Rose if we do our work right. So we still have a lot of work to do, and we have to do it together. So I hope everyone's rested. Hope everyone's recovered. Let's take another day or so to catch our breath, and then let's get back to work. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Senator. And I'll just say from my own perspective as a city employee, this center has been extraordinarily helpful on so many different issues, and we're really lucky to have him in the 52nd. Okay, we have updates from Yuan Chu's campaign. Are you guys here? Oh, come on down. Hello, everyone. Hello. I want to say thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm so sorry that Ewan could not be here. There was a scheduling conflict, but I'm happy to be here on behalf of the campaign. My name is Zunaira Ahmed. I'm campaign manager for Ewan Chu, Democrat for State Senate District 17. This is a brand new district, really new district created after redistricting and after redistricting. The neighborhoods are Kensington, Sunset Park, Bensonhurst, Dyker Heights, Bay Ridge, Bath Beach, very diverse. This is the first time these neighborhoods are kind of joined together, so it's a really exciting moment. I'm here on behalf of Ewan Chu. She is a great candidate. She's the Democrat for State Senate District 17. A little bit about her. She came to this country 17 years ago. She worked as a community journalist. She got her sociology degree from Brooklyn College. So that's really exciting to be a CUNY grad. She is a public servant. After working as a community journalist, writing about community issues, she joined Peter Abadi's district office as chief of staff. Seeing his operations, working with nonprofits, serving people and helping people with district matters. She is really oriented towards public service, which is really exciting to see and really great to see someone with experience in government. She's also a public school mom. So she's very active in the community. She's on community board. She's on the Community Education Council, really active as president of Stars and Stripes Democratic Club, electing Democrats all over Southern Brooklyn, helping Senator Andrew Bernardes, Councilman Justin Brennan, and also former Congressman Max Rose. So she really understands that it takes a joint effort to elect Democrats with values that we share across the state and really joining the effort in Albany to protect our values, which is a really important part. We do have a competitive election. She is the Democrat. She is the Democrat. She is on the Working Families Party line, and we have a Republican. Southern Brooklyn has been long targeted by Republicans, and they have seen some success in recent races. So we need everyone to kind of join our effort. I have a sign-in sheet if you want to help us volunteer. We have phone banking, we have door knocking. It is going to be a all hands on deck effort to make sure we elect a great Democrat to our state Senate. And like Senator Bernardes was saying, we will be making history. She will be the first Asian woman in our state Senate, kind of working on issues that we all care about, like universal child care, New Deal for CUNY. So I really appreciate this time tonight. And I'll be here in the meeting. So I will hope to connect with you all, and I'll have the sign-in sheet, and I look forward to seeing you door knocking. That's really, really important. Thank you. And we'll make sure we get all of the information for any events or actions so everyone can participate, because we know everyone's looking for some more campaign work to do this season. Thank you. All right, let's go to Eugene. Before I turn it over to Eugene, I did forget to give the respectfulness reminder that Alyssa wanted me to make sure I gave. Everyone's opinions matter. Everyone should speak to each other in a way that is fair, and everyone is friends here, and we all have the same objectives, and we, want to make sure we get along and take care of each other.
I'll do my best.
That was really for you, Eugene.
Yeah, I get that a lot. Hey, everybody. How's it going? I know this is quite possibly, I think, the third time in 4 years that I've been with you guys to beg you to help me win New York 11. This is certainly, I hope, my last time down on Staten Island. This is my third run with Max as his field director. I was there in 2018 when Nate Silver gave us a 6% chance of winning the race 3 days before the election. And we proved him wrong. This year, I don't know if you guys saw, but last week he gave us a 7% shot. So we are now 1% less impossible. All right. But the reason that I came back this year and I left my lovely wife and child back in Queens is because I really believe there's a path to victory. All we really need to do is find the voters who had voted for Max twice already now and turn them out. Each time we've been down on Staten Island, We ran the biggest field operation New York City has ever seen, right? 2018, we did close to 800,000 doors, 120,000 positive IDs. 2020, even though we couldn't knock for the first 6 months of the campaign, we still got to about 400,000 doors and another 80,000 IDs. We made like 1.5 million phone calls though. This year around, we're gonna go bigger. I'm looking to knock 1.1 million doors. We're about 10% done, but that's what the math shows me I need in order for Max to have a solid shot. There's a path where we beat Nicole Malliotakis by 3 points just because we inspired record Democratic turnout, just as we did in 2020 and in 2018. The only difference in 2020 was that we did something that so dramatically and deeply offended people, the Republicans on the South Shore, that they came out to defend their president. Max knew very well that when he decided to impeach President Trump, that it could be a consequence that he loses his seat. And he certainly knew about a month later that when he marched with Black Lives Matter down the South Shore of Staten Island towards a police precinct, that he might be incurring some of that risk as well. Right? None of us were under any illusions that that might happen, but he decided ultimately that doing the right thing and losing was better than doing the wrong thing and winning. Because then what would be the point? How could we ask you for help this year, even if he had one last time? So what we are looking to do this year is mobilize more people than we ever have done before. As long as I can get to this kind of magical 1.1 million door knock number, I really think we can do this. We've proven that there's a path for a Democrat to win New York 11 in a midterm year before. This year, our district is very similar, but it's 3 points less for Trump. We are now a Trump plus 10. We routinely outperform Democrats. I think in last time we had outperformed Joe Biden by 6 points. We had more Democrats come out to vote in 2020 than they had done for Obama in 2008, 2012, any other race ever in history down in that district. And what we're looking to do is, hopefully with all of your help, build out a network of volunteers and staff who can essentially turn out more Democratic voters than had voted in Staten Island history. That's basically it. We are not going to persuade anybody who already believes that Max had defunded the police and is in league with rioters and looters and doesn't care about their safety.
Louder.
We're never going to persuade them.
They can't hear you.
Oh, you want me to go louder? This is really alarmist, so maybe I shouldn't be so loud. But no, the fact of the matter is this: we have like 95+% name recognition all over the island. Everybody has their mind made up, right? All we need to do is pull out the people whom I know voted for Max the last 2 times we did this. To do that, I need your help. We are on the precipice of pulling this off. And Nicole Malliotakis has proven to be quite possibly one of the worst Congress members for New York City that we've ever seen, by far. I mean, I think that at the end of the day, we have just this one shot to do this. In 2 years, who knows what will happen? If Trump's going to be back on the ballot, we're not going to have this opportunity again. So I just want to make the same request Max made of me to come back this time. Would you just take one last ride with us? Because I really believe we're going to go and pull this off. If you'd like to help us, 2 quick ways that you can help starting next week. We're going to have a weekly text bank with yourselves and other local clubs in the area. And we're going to be texting as many folks in our universe that have cell phones as possible that we haven't been able to get to on the doors. We're running door knocking every day, but I'll make sure the text banking list is sent over to leadership. And then we have a day of action happening on the 24th, so the following Saturday. And that's going to happen most likely out of the Stars and Stripes Dems Club around noon. And I'll make sure that everybody is given the link and flyer for that as well. Otherwise, I am here to thank you for all of your help the last 4 years that we've done this. And I really hope that you guys will all join us for the trilogy fight. This is the one race everybody wants to see. And I swear to you, we're going to surprise Nate Silver again. So thank you.
Thanks, Eugene. And so everyone clear your calendars for September 24th and details to come. Next on the agenda, we have a surrogate for Dan Goldman, who is the Democratic nominee for the congressional seat, the new New York 10 seat, and we have Assembly Member Cunningham here to speak on his behalf.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. Special good evening to my colleague, Assemblywoman Joanne Simon. Good to see you. And I see Senator back there, Gennardis. Good to see you as well. My name is Brian Cunningham. I am the Assembly member for the 43rd Assembly District in Brooklyn, which is not too far from here. It represents Crown Heights, Flatbush, and Prosper Lefferts Gardens. I am here tonight on behalf of Dan Goldman. Really excited to be here for Dan. Dan could not be here tonight and asked me to come out, and I don't usually come into other people's backyards to talk about a candidate. But over the last couple of months, I've gotten to know Dan very personally. And Dan has been a stalwart attorney, as you guys saw during the Trump investigation. I think he brings a different lens into a legislative body that will allow people to be more investigative in their practices as we do oversight hearings. So feeling a little nauseous tonight. I do apologize, but just wanted to, No. I think it's something I had prior. My apologies. But do want to say that Dan will be an ally and a strong supporter in Congress for this community. Sure. Obviously, we want to continue to get the word out about November. It is a midterm election year, and many times in midterms, people don't turn out in the propensity they need to. So I think it's important to get people that can phone bank and help get out the word about the November elections.
Joan? Endorsement, is that? Yeah. We can do it now. I think I was gonna, that was my next move. So we're on the same page. So. Any seconds? All right. All in favor? Sounds good. Okay. Thank you, Assembly Member. Thank you, everyone. Getting us through the agenda. I would love if we could hear from our Assembly Member Joanne Simon.
Thank you very much. I am using my iPhone to take for my notes. As some of you know me, that very often I'm looking at paper, but anyway. So anyway, first of all, I want to thank all of you for your support in the campaign for Congress, which obviously did not go the way we would have wanted. But, you know, I'm happy to remain in the Assembly where I was expecting to remain in the first place until the court went nuts and created this district. And so I will be on the general election ballot in November, which was something I qualified for before this map was released, as far as that goes. So I want to thank you all for all of the work you did for my campaign. I also want to just tell you a couple things about that we're working on. You know, we have a new Java with Joanne, which is on the Friday the 30th. And it's going to be at a place called Ovenly on Court Street, which has a really lovely backyard. So it's very COVID friendly, which still is of concern for people. And on the 6th, we have our flu shots. And so those of you who haven't gotten a flu shot, call my office. You can sign up. We'll go to the old Litch ER, which I still call it Litch, but it's NYU. I called my doctor the other day. I called his cell phone by mistake. And then I called the office and set up an appointment. When I got there, he said, "Didn't you call my cell phone a couple of weeks ago?" He said, all I could think of was, oh God, don't tell me something's happening with Litch again, because that's the only reason I have his cell phone was because of Litch. And then of course we have our mammogram van, which is on November 18th. So again, we're encouraging people to sign up for that. I just want to say a few things legislatively. You know, that we have the governor signed the smaller class size bill, which of course, you know, there's a lot of sturm and drang about, but the reality is, you know, we've known since at least 1930 when there was a study done about this, that smaller class size really does matter. I'm very proud that I was the lead sponsor of the original class size bill. So I'm very happy that we finally got this done. It's a slightly different bill than mine in the final analysis, but it's going to be, it's going to work. It's going to make a big difference. And I'm very pleased that we did this. The other thing we did, of course, is the concealed carry bill, which actually was broader. The sensitive spaces part of the bill came from my bill, which I had a standalone bill. It's been challenged already. They went to a particular court, yada, 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 but it got dismissed on standing grounds. And so hopefully we will withstand other challenges that, somebody's going to file something. As you can imagine. And then the other thing is, there's this interborough rail that the governor talked about in her state of the state. There's a town hall next week. That's a public town hall. It doesn't connect with the 52nd at all. It starts in Bay Ridge and goes across and into Queens. But the reality is anything that is rail freight that we can get freight off of trucks improves the lives of people here in this part of the corridor. And so, if I really encourage people, if they have an interest in that, to, participate in the town hall, learn what you can about it. If you have questions, ask those questions, and participate in the town hall. The other thing, of course, is county committee meeting. We are trying to get people to come out to the county committee meeting. You have to drop off proxies before by the 18th. They will be open. County, which is at Metrotech on the 18th floor. So we're going to be dropping them off beforehand. I have already dropped off the certificate of nomination for filling the vacancies on the county committee for the EDs that we had. We sort of divided them up with Rep. Your Block. And so that's what we've done. We've already filed that. I have proof that I filed it. I have a duplicate original in case somebody spills coffee. So we're all ready. But you can't just go in like you used to with a bunch of proxies, right? Now, what they did was they sent out something in the mail, and which was fine. They had been doing cards that were barcoded, which made checking in much easier, but they're not doing that this year, which is why they want the advance filing so that they can count. And as any of you know, counting is important. So I just want to encourage people, if you need to leave off a proxy, we're collecting them tonight, which we will. And anybody else that I'm getting them from neighbors left and right. So we'll be filing those before the 18th. But if anybody else has them, you want to talk to any of us about that, we'll be making sure that happens. Yes, sir. They shouldn't be, because we had kind of divided up the EDs. I have no idea. It's not like she calls me to tell me, right? But they only ran a few people in a few EDs. They won some of those. They lost some of those. We had one that was, we moved on, was some of the people that were our people had come in through Rep. Your Block anyway at one point. Tyler came in at one point, Rep. Your Block. He was already a member of IND. So, we actually it did okay, but we lost some people in some of the primaries and we moved them on, right? Like Art, for example, is somebody who was in an ED that lost that primary, and we moved him into another ED, which is also near his house. So if they're doing that, I don't know anything about it. If I'm the county leader, I think there's more things on her that she's got to do. She's having a baby in October. I'd focus on that as opposed to worrying about whether you can pick off a couple of seats in the 52nd, right? But whatever. Yes, ma'am. Oh, sorry. The questions. Yes. The question was whether there would be a competing slate of county committee members that might be moved on to the county committee. And I said I was not aware of it, but of course, Rep. Your Block and IND had divided up those EDs beforehand for petitioning purposes, and that's what we are following. But he was not talking about that. He was talking about somebody else, which I interpreted to be county, but I have no reason to believe they are. Yes, sir, ma'am. So the question was, do we know anything more about the assembly districts being redrawn, which the court found needed to be done at some point over the summer, right? So they haven't, the new lines would have to be effective by 2024, which means arguably they could screw around for a long time and not have those lines done until, the beginning of 2024. I don't, one of the issues is the redistricting commission process. The chair of the redistricting commission has written pretty eloquently about how this went awry, including the fact that the Republicans put on somebody who was running for Senate and looking to redraw Long Island for the Republicans, and made it impossible to get to yes. And the voting requirements are such that you essentially need unanimity. And remember that that plan for the voting was done in conjunction with the Senate, because the Senate is in charge of redistricting when the Republicans were in charge of the Senate. They were looking to shore up whatever advantage they might have. So the reality is that the current IRC has real problems. I don't know whether there will be there could be some change in that makeup, or whether the GOP will appoint people that will be able to behave themselves this time. But I don't know what that's going to be. That's something I think that the legislature is probably going to be talking about. I know there was a CLE program just the other night. I signed up for it. It was actually just was at the Bar Association, but it wasn't really a legal continuing legal education program. And Marty Connor was speaking at it. And so was David Imamura, who was the chair of the redistricting commission. But somehow or other, they had no sound. And today we learned that they never recorded any sound. So I have no idea what happened. So we'll need to get a report from, our former senator.
We have a question from Zoom. How is the class size bill going to be executed? Would we need more teachers and more space? What is the date by which schools need to comply?
Well, first of all, it's a 5-year phase-in, right? So it won't be phased in until 2027 because it's in abeyance for a year, which will happen because there's a chapter amendment. And then it will be 20% per year. We actually have, for most people, if you really look at it, we actually have enough space. One of the big problems is the blue book by which the city schools assess their space. It has no bearing on reality. But if you look at a lot of schools that actually do have a space, it'll be an interesting thing because one of the things we have to make sure we have is enough room for like therapies and smaller class size for kids, for example, who have, lower class sizes because of IEPs. But so that gets implemented by the city schools. The state does not implement it because we don't run the city schools. We don't run any school district from the state legislature or from the state. So that is going to be, I would say, for parents to stay engaged with their community education councils, all of whom supported the small class size bill, and to make sure that the city is doing the work and engaging with parents and teachers early enough to do that. Right. 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 So 46% are already compliant. I'm
Get into
repeating
the
it.
chat, or-
46%, Senator Gennard has mentioned, are already in compliance. Part of that is post-COVID, a drop in enrollment. So while they're making a big deal out of this, in reality, we are already closer there. I can't tell you how many parents have come up to me to say, we had 30 kids in my daughter's class, and now we only have 24, and it's making a difference. It should be lower, but it's making a difference. So that is really important because if you have 5 or 6 fewer kids in your 3rd or 4th grade classroom, it can make a big difference. Okay, well, thank you all very much. And thank you out there in Zoom land. Bye.
Thank you, Assembly Member. Another elected we are very lucky to have. Okay, we are also very lucky to be joined by our new district leaders, Aaron and Lydia. And I know that Joanne talked a little bit about county committee, but would you, one or both of you like to come and talk to us?
Hi, so for those of you that don't know me, I am Aaron O. Young. I am the newly elected male district leader, and this is Lydia.
Lydia Green, the newly elected female district leader. Although hopefully we'll be getting rid of those gender specifications soon.
Yes, sorry, very soon. Yes, for our assembly member, I kind of gone over the main talking points in terms of the county committee meeting. I'll just emphasize a few things. Number one, it will be on September 21st. Number two, it will be at not MCU Field. There was some communication sent out previously that it will be at MCU Field. It will not be there. It will be at Coney Island Amphitheater, which is a few blocks down from that location. To my knowledge, there might be a minor league baseball game going on at MCU Field that night. So please do not go there. Yes, unless you want to go see a minor league baseball game, but there will not be a county committee meeting there. Yeah, it could be way more fun. Yeah, and also might be shorter as well. A lot of folks have been asking us just what is going to be going on at the meeting. I wish I could tell you more than what I'm about to tell you, largely because like our assembly member, I'm not sure that the county leader calls us very much as well. So the thing to know, I would say, is if you plan on going to the meeting, please register at the link that they had sent. So they had sent an email. They had also sent the snail mail piece of it, the same link. So please register if you're going to go there. If you're not going, please also drop off the proxy form here tonight. Please also fill out the proxy form. There's a lot of folks that, not just the one I got tonight, but a few other folks have just handed me the blank piece of paper. Please don't do that. Fill it out with someone's name in it that you would like to designate a proxy to. And then I would say that's probably the main things. We can definitely keep you updated on any other developments that we might hear around the agenda, any sort of motions that might be happening during the meeting. As far as I know, I have not heard of anything solid. There's been whispers of things things that might happen, but I don't really know if they're going to happen for sure. I'm not really planning on very much happening at this meeting, which is kind of famous last words. But yes, other than that, just want to thank everyone for welcoming both of us to the club. We've been getting to know all of you through a few events and also working with your executive board. So happy to get to know you guys a little bit more and hopefully down the road work with you guys some more. Did you have anything else to fill in?
Just that it's important that you show up to this meeting, even if it doesn't seem like it'll be really important. A lot of folks in this club and in the partner clubs, Rep Your Block, worked really hard to get a lot of county committee members, and your votes don't really matter unless you all unless you all show up and actually vote and participate. And we might actually have enough power to give county a run for its money this time. But yeah, that only works if you show up or give your proxy to someone.
Yeah, sorry. One last thing is, I know that in the past couple cycles with county committee, it's always been kind of like this one big meeting that's kind of been a mess, and then kind of 2 years of nothing. I will say this cycle, because we're able to get so many more reformers onto county committee this time around, I do have some more optimism just getting to know some of the newer district leaders throughout the campaign, and as well getting to know some of the district leaders since the election, that there might be some room to actually do stuff as Democrats this cycle. And that is something I think is pretty exciting, not just fighting with each other, but actually working together. So that's one focus I think I will have as district leader, that Lydia will have as district leaders, to find areas where not just the 52nd, but the whole entire borough, we can work together. So things like helping out folks in the general election is definitely on the top of the agenda at the moment. So definitely would encourage folks to sign up for those shifts. But yes, looking forward to actually trying to use county committee for a little bit more than just one big organizing meeting and nothing else after that. Anything else? Oh, no. Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Is there a talent show or something? No, no, that was it. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to take them or anything. Yes. Yes, so certainly have heard buzzing of changing. I
Repeat the question.
sorry. Yes, the question was, have I heard any sort of changes to county leadership that might happen? This is the question I probably get the most. What I'll say is there's certainly been talks that have been going on. I think it's just mostly right now, there's kind of two things going on. Is number one, I'm not sure that there's any sort of solid people that have called me and said, I am running for county leader and I would like your vote, and this is why. That has not happened. So in my mind, it's kind of whispers, and I don't really want to comment on things until I know for a fact that this is happening. The other piece is I do think because there's still business being done with the 2020 to 2022 slate. There's actually a meeting going on tonight to kind of amend some rules, to my knowledge. That's a little bit of just a technical issue. There's nothing underhanded going on there. Again, we think exactly on the agenda, at least, it seems like it's just a technical change. But again, they're still doing business with the previous slated district leaders and not us. So I do think there will be a learning period when the 2022 slate of district leaders comes on board. So I don't know in terms of how that dynamic is going to change. And my feeling is that dynamic hasn't really set in yet. Just I think through both of our intro calls and introductions to a lot of district leaders, it's a little bit of like, oh, that's right. Like there's a new set of district leaders coming in. So again, if there's going to be updates on that, certainly we'll let folks know, hopefully ahead of the organizing meeting. My guess is if something like that does happen, it's probably going to happen right before the organizing meeting. I think county likes to catch people off guard, like right before. So that would be something at the meeting for folks. Another incentive for people to show up to that meeting is while we're there, to be organized around that. Yes. But the idea is if anything happens beforehand, we'll try to let folks know ahead of time in terms of what's going on. So it's not quite as chaotic as in years past. Yes, because that is one thing that we like to do, make things a little bit less chaotic.
Are you organizing a way for people to get it out there? Can I help pick 4 people? To make sure we get as many people as we can.
We are not right now, but that's definitely something we can set up if there's interest to do that. I know that there has been talks. There is interest. Perfect. Yes, we can figure out like the details with that with the executive board and everything. Yes.
I think Rep Your Block also might be working on something like that. I know there was a fundraiser they had a few weeks ago where they mentioned that was one of the expenses they were raising money for, was to bus people to the meeting.
Yes. So basically, we can work anything out with the executive board here. And then if we hear of any other forms of transportation through other organizations that people like to take advantage of, we'll pass that information along too.
Thank you both for coming. We're excited to be working for you. And if anybody has any transportation needs or capacity, we can consolidate that information and make sure we're working with everybody to get folks there. Let's see, what are we going to do next? I understand Hal might have some updates on buses for other things we can do to help advocate for some Democrats.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Yeah, I'm working with a group called Vote Blue, which will be sending buses to Pennsylvania and Long Island beginning this Saturday and going through all the way through to Election Day. The buses will be leaving from Union Square. You should be there at 8 o'clock. And there's a $10 request for to defray the cost of the buses. I'm going to be going this Saturday. There's only going to be one bus going to Doylestown, PA, which is a suburb of Philadelphia. But the districts are going to be either that district, Lee Zeldin's district, New York 1. We have a good chance of flipping that from red to blue. My old hometown of Easton, PA has a tough race. There's an incumbent Democratic Congress representative who's having a tough race. We want to keep that seat blue. And there's going to be a few districts upstate. So I'm really asking everyone here, as important as it is, to work for our local people, I'm not putting that down. We have to look at the big picture. The Republicans have stated pretty much if they get control of the House, they're going to impeach Joe Biden. And we can do something about that. We can stop that by doing what we can to keep as many districts as possible blue, or to flip from red to blue. So please, you can Google Vote Blue, and I don't have the link with me right now, but there's a link you can get online, or basically show up at Union Square, 8 o'clock every Saturday morning from now until Election Day. and you will get on a bus. There'll be 2 or 3 buses going to different places. And for $10, you can help basically save this country from some crazy people that want to really hurt it. So please, people, come out, help us out. Let's keep our Congress blue. Let's keep this country a democracy. Okay. Thank you so much. Yes, we did submit, we contributed $500 to the cost of the buses, but the buses are a lot more than that. And it's only $10. You can just, considering the value of what we're doing, which is we're going to be door knocking in all these places, $10 is pretty cheap. Yes, Joanne? Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. 100%. Yeah, they're not only going to try to impeach Joe Biden, they want to pass some kind of cockamamie law that's going to define life as beginning at conception and abolish abortion throughout the whole country. Republicans are saying they're going to do this. So anybody that gives a damn about reproductive rights should be on those buses with me. So please, save our democracy, save reproductive rights, stop these wackos from whatever nonsense they're trying to do. And please come out, as I said, every Saturday, beginning this Saturday through Election Day, 8:00 a.m., Union Square. Be there or be square. Thank you.
Thanks, Hal. And we'll make sure we get the information so we can blast it out with all the other fun information everybody has shared tonight. I believe Sari has an update on the street vendor project.
The end of a long line of great speakers. This isn't a political ask. I'm going to give, but except in the sense that all things are politics. It's an invitation to a party, to a gala. So I know I've talked to some of you before, but I've been working with the street vendors of New York City for the past few years. And I've been working with the Street Vendor Project, which is a tiny grassroots organization. It's about 5 people now, run mostly by former street vendors, and they represent all of the vendors in the city. And the street vendors, for some of you may know, work in the informal sector. So they, most of them don't work legally. They're about 20,000. They don't work legally because of the way the permit system works. And so there's about 20,000 or so street vendors in New York City. The vast majority are new immigrants. Many don't speak English. Many aren't documented. So this is the only source of income. But because of the way the permitting system in this completely arcane permitting system works, they're under constant threat of police harassment and street harassment and so on. So the Street Vendor Project is this tiny organization. It's a grassroots organization, and they're the only organization that represents the street vendors in New York. And they're hosting their first ever gala. Thanks. Thank you. So they're hosting their first ever gala fundraiser this in October 11th. And so that's what that card is, an invitation. The card, I know if I understand correctly, it has a code on the back. So if you and I know you've all done this from menus and stuff. So if you take a picture of the code, it'll take you to the website, the Eventbrite tickets. So I'm inviting everyone to join me. I'm going to go to the gala. It's at the Queens Museum. It gives you, there's parking. You get free entrance to the exhibits. You get free entrance to the panorama. Has anyone seen the panorama of New York at the Queens Museum? It's amazing. It's super cool. It's like a bucket list thing to do in New York City. So it's awesome. So it's entrance to that. And also the gala itself, which is going to be DJ'd and catered and so on, all by street vendors. And it should be great. So there's different kinds of tickets. If you can't go, although I hope you all come, you could donate or buy a ticket for a street. So a street vendor can come, which is also really nice. I got a VIP ticket, which I've never done in my life. I know, but I thought it gives me access to a special cocktail, something, happy hour, I don't know. And it's virtuous, so I get virtuous cocktails. So I would love to see you with the VIP section with me. But whatever you could do, I would love to see IND represented there. And it's it's some of the most heartwarming work that I do in New York. It's a phenomenal group and it's very, very grassroots. So I would love to talk to anyone more. I could show you how the card works and how the ticketing works. There are different levels of tickets, so you could just choose, but I'd be thrilled to see everyone there. So thanks.
Thanks. It's always good to hear about some non-candidate focused advocacy going on. I wanted to pass over to Susanna to talk about a NYCHA event.
Hi, so this is actually. Excellent, love that. So this is actually just to share some good news with people out of a tragedy that happened about the community coming together. So as the executive board knows, we've been contacted by Miss Ramos, who lives locally in the 52nd district. Her son was a community resident, very active. He had a burgeoning hip hop career, and he lost his life due to gun violence. He was killed when he was down in Miami, Florida. And Ms. Ramos had reached out to us. She wanted to do an event in his memory to bring people together to highlight gun violence and to do it in his honor and his memory. And she reached out just for some support from IND to cover some of the food and the drinks at the event, which we did, and I think was really great. The assembly member went, and I know some other folks from the community went. A lot of people from Wyckoff and Gowanus were there, and she was very, very grateful for the support. So I thought that was really fantastic that she took this tragedy and she brought in Man Up. She brought in other gun violence prevention interrupters, and she had them just talk to the community and table and just come together. And it was very, very lovely.
Thank you, Susanna. I wanted to acknowledge Pamela Fines, who's joined us this evening. Did I say anything? You don't have to. No worries. Running a tight meeting tonight.
I'm not gonna say much. Hello. Oh, hello. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Pamela Patton Fines. I am a candidate for civil court judge. I will be on the ballot this November. I am on the ballot because the members of IND helped me with petitioning, and you guys worked really hard to get me on the ballot. And so I'm so happy. I'm so grateful and thankful for your support. I hope that you will continue to support me as we march towards November. I'm not going to take up a lot of time telling you about myself, but I've been an attorney for 30 years. I have experience in criminal law, civil law, and for the past 20 years, I've been doing labor and education with New York State United Teachers. So I've been working with teachers, supporting them, and making sure that their rights are protected. I've always wanted to be a judge, and I'm hoping and very prayerful that this November I will be elected and I will be a civil court judge. I'm going to sit down, but there's only one thing I want to say. Is something that Joanne was talking about, the breast cancer screening. I am a breast cancer survivor, 12 years now. And I want to tell you that early detection is the key. So if you haven't gotten your mammogram for the year, please sign up for her event and get your mammogram. If you have a friend who hasn't, please make sure that they get it, because the earlier they detect it, the better off you'll be.
All right. Last order of business that I have is Atlantic Antic. It's going to be October 2nd. Karen, yes? Please. Do you want to come over here? Use the mic. We want to make sure that people online can hear.
Where am I on Zoom? Oh. Okay, well, last year we had a great spot. We were at Sahadi's, right in front of Sahadi's on Atlantic Avenue. And this year we're hoping to get that same spot. And it's Sunday, October 2nd. And what we're going to need is for everybody to volunteer for shifts, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever. I'm looking at in the back of the room for volunteers, but he already knows he's being volunteered. Steve Bronstein, who I don't know how many years, we wouldn't have tables and chairs set up if it weren't for Steve and Devin Robinson and Hal and Jason. I was getting to you, big guy. Anyway, it's going to be very, it's just a great time. IND, we have a tent and it's just a lot of fun. And we have a lot of camaraderie and we give out the lit and all the electeds come by and Senator Schumer comes by and judges and they all stop at our tent just to show you how they revere us. They take us seriously. And that's always been the case. But the Atlantic Annex is a nice showcase for us. So you'll be hearing from some of us about volunteering to come and just spend an hour or two with us. Okay, thank you. No, we're not there yet. We are, yes. Yes, but we're okay. It's going to come in tomorrow. Okay, yeah, we just got a little delayed here, but we're good. So thank you.
Cheryl, what's up? Yeah, what's up? So the question for those at home was, do we use our presence at Atlantic Antic to recruit members? And the answer is yes. Jason? And Cheryl, if you have any ideas about how we could do a better job of that, we're always open to that. I think Anne has some remarks.
Just want to say hello. I am really home tonight. I'm home for so many reasons. Brooklyn Law School is my educational home. I teach here. I was graduated from here in 1980. I was an alumni of the year and I taught last night here. So I'm very much at home in the building, but also IND is my political home. I didn't know anything about politics until Joanne and Joan said, would you fill in for Paige as a district leader? And it's brought me so much joy and so much professional pleasure that I will be on the ballot for Supreme Court, thanks to the district leaders. I'm proud to say I had unanimous support among all the district leaders, which is not an easy, as you heard from the district leaders, it was not an easy thing to obtain. And it's what you guys taught me, how to be a straight shooter, how to treat everybody decently and fairly, and just do your best and be an honest broker. And if you do that, it comes back. But I learned everything I know about politics and about doing the right thing and about progressive values and about hard work and caring about the Democratic Party from you guys. Because before this, I didn't know anything. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am running unopposed in November. And you may not be happy to know this, but I'm going to tell you this anyway, because you taught me about politics. We were asked, those of us who were on the ballot as Democrats, we were asked if we wanted to run on the conservative and Republican ballots. And at first, I was surprised about that, and I was concerned about it. And you know what I thought to myself? I'm a judge. I'm hopefully going to go to civil or criminal court. If I wanted to sit on an election case, what better to show my neutrality that I was supported by all three parties? So I didn't think that it was a betrayal of my Democratic roots. And in fact, we had to be interviewed by the Republicans and the conservative. And the first question they asked is, what political party do you vote? And I said, I'm a proud Democrat. And nobody asked me about my Democrat values. Nobody asked me about the things that are controversial. And so I have to say that I'm not apologizing for it, but I'm explaining to you why I'm on those ballots, but I'm a proud Democrat. I will always be a proud Democrat. So thank you so much for your support and teaching me. And after 6 months, I'm not allowed to do anything political, but within the next 6 months, I am allowed to. And you will see me at everything you want me to be at. Thank you. Yes, yes. My husband, you know, Stephen Brownstein, right, is my husband. And well, believe me, he drove me. I could go on and on, except to say that the Conservative Party's office is right next to a smoke shop. I will only say that. So you learn something every day. So thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, everyone. That's the end of my agenda. Does anybody have any new business? All right. Can we acknowledge? Seamus is trying to really kill my tight 1 hour meeting, but let's go, Seamus.
It was already that. Just a quick reminder, if you're not gonna be able to make the county meeting, we do have the proxy forms in the back, and so just fill it out. Please make sure you cross out the part that says Arlene's name and then initial next to it, and then write in someone you know from the 52nd that's going to be there. Sign it, and I'll make sure it gets it to the county office tomorrow.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night. Oh. Second? Great. I think